Hello and welcome to Dear Pop Culture Podcast. This is the podcast where we talk about pop culture that is dear to us. I am Gina Harms. I am the host. Today we recorded an episode. We have an awesome guest, hilarious comedian, Damonde Tschritter. He does the Microdose podcast. I think you're going to love it. We talk about first concerts and meeting celebrities, sneaking into the movies. It's a really good, really funny chat. And we got a special guest from a dog. It's unpredictable. You never know what will happen. I don't really have any shows coming up to plug because it's the summer. I didn't need to say that, but I did anyway. But I hope you enjoy the episode wherever you are, sending out lots of love. And yeah, here it is.
Oh, okay. So we've already been doing the podcast?
I guess. Yeah.
Okay. So that's how it starts?
That's
it just
how
goes
it
right,
starts.
like, was there music first and people it bled into us talking about Germans?
I'll do an intro by myself.
After? You're going to pick some point of it and be like,
we
this
talked
we talked about. I get it.
I'm so bad at that, though. And I literally do the intro, like, right after you leave, I'll do it. And I'll be like, I think we talked about elephants?
I can't remember on mine either, like, what we have to listen to it. But so you're kind of like a contestant in Survivor when they're interviewing them about what happened, but they're talking later, obviously, but they are pretending like they don't know what the outcome is.
Yes.
You go back.
Yeah.
Your reality television for your
Yeah,
intro.
it's my reality TV confessional. Like,
wow, that's part of your pop culture influence.
I guess so. I like
right?
that. That's a good way to look at it.
That's the way to do it. So you go back after. I won't be here. I won't be present. Won't see it. I'm dismissed.
You'll have no idea. Well, you could stay.
Or I could probably go home. I'll see it when it comes out. Like,
yeah. It's never usually like a long intro. Then there's music. Yeah.
Are you like selling it? Are you out there with excitement? You gotta want. Are you sales pitching? Or are you pretty casual? Like,
I'm pretty casual by nature. I'm just like, yeah, like I think you'll enjoy it, and I pitch the guest.
Okay.
I'll talk you up.
Talk me up. Okay.
Yeah.
Mention the Microdose podcast. That's why I'm wearing the hat.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, we got hats made.
Got good branding.
Well, it was Paul, my podcast partner. He said, I got an idea. I want to make, I'm going to take you to the mall. He was going to get us hats. That was the idea. And I had been talking, and I had like $180 in my pocket. And I was like, it's really hard. I can't get rid of this cash. I was talking about, went to the hat shop. These two hats cost $160 for two of them. And then their bank machine, their debit card thing was down.
Oh.
So you had to pay with cash. And Paul was like, I guess I'll go find a machine. I'm like, I'll buy it. So I wound up having to pay for the hats that were supposed to be a gift from Paul.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. He wrote, it worked out. You shouldn't brag about not being able to spend money. Karma got me.
Yeah. Then he didn't pay you back?
No, it was... I was like, it's done now. I guess I paid for it. We're both in the podcast together. Why should he be paying for it?
Right. That's funny.
So, yeah, we did branding.
Nice. So you don't sell them yet?
No. Who's going to pay $70 for a Microdose cap? Like, if we mass produced them, we could get if we could get the cost down to like $20 a cap.
Yeah. Actually, I was buying a birthday present for my friend, and I wanted to get them like a custom hat with just like some text on it. It's expensive. I was looking at all these different websites.
Yeah, they don't have just the shops where you can go in anymore, and they put like your shirt, like an iron-on.
Yeah.
Is that like an iron-on? Like when you could go to like Bang On Tees and you pick
It does seem like that. Yeah, it feels like that. I bought it from a store like this, but.
So you could just go in before and you open up a book and like spell this on my shirt.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And those all closed down.
I guess so.
There's one.
There's one on Granville Island.
Yeah, that's the one. But you got to order and it's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a friend who worked there for a while, and they would be like, you could get anything you want. Because usually you could bring them a picture and they'll be like, that's copyright, we can't. But he was like, I'll just do it for you. And so I would send him all these pictures all the time, but then he'd be like, no, I don't like that.
You refuse to make anything you want?
Like, I was like, he's like, I'll make you any t-shirt you want. And then I sent him, I wanted a shirt of China, the wrestler. And I sent him like 2 pictures of her that I loved. And then he was like, he made one of her for me. So he made one, but it was not of either of the pictures that I sent.
Oh, he picked his own picture.
He picked his own picture.
After all that. So he'll make you a shirt, but not necessarily the one you want.
Yeah. There's a caveat.
I went there and got a shirt made that said like Tool and comedy. Because before the pandemic, I was with Rory Scovel and we were following Tool on tour. Comedians following Tool on tour, the tour. So we would go to whatever city they were in, like Austin, Texas. We would go do the show the night before Tool played. And the idea was we'll go do a show, we'll make money, and then we'll go to the Tool concert. Wow. But he went on Conan and talked about it. And then the guitarist from Tool, Adam Jones, saw him and got a hold of him on Instagram. So the guitarist from Tool showed up at our show in Austin and then invited us to come to the sound check. And next thing you knew, we were hanging around with Tool. Like, we had like backstage passes.
Yeah.
When everything shut down, I was like in the arena in Portland.
Oh, wow.
Where the Trailblazers play. And then that's when everything shut down for COVID. But I was just walking around like I was part of the band. I knew all the roadies. I was like, hey guys, I only know Adam, the guitarist. I don't really know the other band members. But
yeah.
So I got this shirt that said like Tool and comedy because we're talking about karma. I'd say, I don't know, maybe that was March. So September before that, Rory and I were flying to Cleveland to do a show, and he saw the guitarist guy from Tool in the airport. Mm-hmm. He's like, Adam. He chased him down, and I stopped and took a picture of him. So it's those two together in the airport as they're changing play. But we didn't know him then.
Right.
And then
he didn't know.
And we didn't know we were going to do the tour, all this stuff. There was just this picture. So it's just this crazy picture I took in an airport of those two. So then I put it on a shirt, and then nobody wore it. Just me. They're like, oh, what, you're like the mom on a soccer team? They kind of made fun of me. So,
no.
Yeah, I got a little crushed. Rory didn't wear his shirt. Adam took his shirt. I don't know if he ever wore it, but he was like, you should make these shirts for your guys' tour. Yeah. And then I said, yeah, but those shirts were like $70 a shirt because it's your friend.
Right.
Who charges like a crazy amount unless you get a whole bunch of shirts made.
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
There's some pulp culture.
Exactly.
Is Tool pulp culture?
I feel like yes. Like I feel like any form of entertainment counts, but it is very, I don't really know. I feel like they're almost like,
you feel like you wouldn't know. Yeah, you'd think so. I think they're like, I don't know if they fall into metal, but they won like, I don't know, what is it, a Grammy? For like album of the year for rock. I don't know what it is. They're a big award. They fill out stadiums. I thought they were kind of.
Yeah, like I've definitely heard of them, but I couldn't name a Tool song.
Yeah, and I didn't know that I liked them. Like I did before.
Enough to follow them on tour.
Well, I wound up, my wife really liked them, so I really got into Tool. And when I did my one-man show, the song when you were coming into, like the last song you played before my show started was a song by Tool. 46 and 2, but it was done by a lullaby, so it sounds like children's music. They play a little xylophone, so it's kind of soft. I found this weird, you can find them where they cover like songs that you love, but they'll be like a Nirvana song, but it's made for like a baby's lullaby.
I've seen those.
And so I thought that was pretty tranquil for people to sit. It would sort of put them in a bit of a trance, but it was still a cool song. And I don't even remember where I was going with that. But I guess it's that Tool is really big, but I thought for a long time I got the band Tool and Korn mixed up because when I had roommates, they used to come home and blare like that at like 4 a.m. and wake me up when I still had a job, like when I was like 23 or whatever. Are
Tool and Korn like similar music
No,
styles?
apparently they're completely different.
What kind of like
Korn is horrible.
Because that's the thing. I can pick out a Korn song. I know a couple just because I used to watch like Much Music, and so like they would just play all kinds of videos.
Yes.
So like but it never Tool.
That's how Tool. They used to show some Tool videos, but they make like the artwork was really weird. These claymation guys. It was kind of creepy.
Yeah.
But the guys from Tool actually make the videos. They're also like effects artists and stuff. And they're comic book, like the guitarist is like a comic book collector.
Oh, that's awesome.
Stuff. So they're actually like
real
creative. They
artsy
just happen to be, they turn out to be artsy people.
Yeah.
And so I really enjoyed following them around. It was really fun. So I
great.
recommend it. If anybody out there gets the chance to follow Tool on tour, you should do it.
Cool.
And I think we're the first ones to do it because he was like, "Oh, no other artists have ever done this." Like, I guess took a group of weirdo comics.
Yeah, I would do. That sounds so fun.
You can follow Korn.
Yeah, I'll follow Korn. I'll just not know. I'm like trying to think of one song I know.
Well, that's how I like when you said music videos. That's how I used to find all my music.
Yeah.
At one point, because I'd be on the road, I would just throw the TV on in the hotel, and Much Music still played videos.
Yeah.
So I could find out what was out and what. Like now, I couldn't tell you what's new. Spotify steers me into whatever. That's how I find all my music because you can't listen on a radio. I don't know where to find new music.
I know, and even then with Spotify, like I'm not listening to the new music it suggests. I'm just playing the old stuff constantly. I don't click on my like new release playlist ever. And so
I sometimes go like, hey, because you like that, you might like this.
Sometimes. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes.
Take a walk.
Yeah.
Take a walk sometime, Gina.
To.
Take a walk down there. You won't like every song, but you'll be like, oh, maybe I'll put a heart beside this one.
Yeah.
And it can go in my collection of songs I do like.
That's true. Because it's the same, I find, with like TV, because it's like you used to you'd be just channel surfing, and then you'd just, something would catch your eye and be like, what's this? Oh, I'm going to watch this for a while. But now with streaming, if something's new and I've never heard of it, like I'm just not clicking on it. I'm just rewatching the same stuff.
So you're like a person who only likes certain foods. You
Oh,
get your program and your music, and you're like, no, this is my likes over here.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna try that new sauce.
I try stuff, but I mean it's a good analogy. But I'm not like that with food.
No, but like get that with your TV and your
kind of.
And your music.
Yeah.
You got your niche.
Yeah.
And it's going to take something spectacular to break into your friend group.
It does.
Your little circle of trust.
It really does. Which is so, I want to try, but like, I don't know. With movies, I do it. I like watching new movies. I go to movies.
Do you sneak into the theater?
No, I have like
twice. Okay. So have you ever been away somewhere you gotta like kill a day and you go to like a multiplex where they got like movies playing all day, so you can sort of go from movie to movie?
Well, I worked for Cineplex on and off for basically 10 years.
10 years?
Like I worked at the one in Kamloops for like I want to say 8 years. I left for a year to go to Australia, but like I started there when I was 15.
So it took 8 years of Cineplex money to save up for a 1 year trip to Australia? Is
Honestly,
that?
Yeah. That's
okay.
It. And then when I moved to Vancouver, I didn't want to work at the theater, but then it just, when I was in school and stuff, it kind of was like, well, it's a good job. So I worked at this one on Fifth Ave for like a year and a half.
And you get to see free movies.
Exactly.
That's the perk. Like I worked at when they used to have the theaters where they're like 3 movies for $5. They'd be second run before they would come out on videos. So I worked at one, like it's now a nightclub on Granville Street.
Oh.
But it was the Paradise Cinema. So you could come in like, I forget what, $5 and you get to see maybe two movies.
That's awesome.
And one was usually good and one was like a movie that didn't do well.
Yeah.
So it got there early. And the other one would be like, oh, because movies used to stay in the theater till people stopped going.
Yeah.
And then they'd move them out.
Yeah. And then they would take like a year to come out on video.
Yes.
Now they come out so
quick. You
quick.
had a gap. If you didn't see it in the theater, you had a year to wait.
Yeah, you were waiting a while.
Yeah, they didn't just come out.
Yeah.
They had to wait till it played all over the world. I don't know where it finished playing. Toledo.
Right.
Till it closed up in the last shop.
Yeah.
And then it would come out, and then you get to your video store, and they'd only have like 5 copies. So there'd just be a photocopy of the movie you wanted to get, telling you like, nope, we don't have it. And whereas like, but right now for people out there, this is a great time to sneak into movies.
Oh.
Because if you don't buy your movie tickets ahead of time at like Tinseltown and some of them where they scan them. They're like, oh, you got to go to the popcorn lineup and buy your ticket there.
Okay.
So you walk over to the popcorn lineup and you
get
talk for a
popcorn.
minute and then you just walk into the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This
So,
is good to know.
it's good to
I'm
know.
gonna get into it.
I don't pirate movies. I don't go in and tape them, but I'll go see if nobody's there to collect my money at the front. If you don't put a person
Yeah.
in the booth to take my money, then that's
Yeah.
your fault.
I think that's
I'll
fair.
gladly pay, but you have to have the person at the paying place.
Right.
Don't make me
now-
stand in the popcorn lineup.
But now there's like reserved seats at a lot of them, so you have to make sure it's not packed. 'Cause
Yeah.
I went to see the James Bond movie last year, and it was sold out. And there was this couple, like, first they were sitting in my seats. I got there pretty early. I was like, oh, you're in my seat, sorry. So they just like, they were like, oh, sorry, and they just moved over. And then the next person came up, and they're like, you're in our seats. And then they moved like further down to the end of the row, and then the movie was starting, and then this other couple came in, and they were like, but they didn't say anything because the movie had already started. So then they went and just sat near the front. But then these other people came into the front, and they were like, hey, you're in our seats. And then they were like, hey, well, you're in our seats. And then like they had to like, they came and got the usher, and I was like, oh, this is messy.
So if it's sold out, don't try it. You got to go to a movie because
because of the reserved seats, they started doing reserved seats because of COVID.
Well, I showed Paul. I took Paul, the guy I do my podcast with me while he was here.
Yeah.
And he was worried that they were going to come in like, what if they check our tickets? And I'm like, have you ever been in a movie theater where a guy just walks in and is like, tickets, please.
Yeah.
Tickets. You're not on a SkyTrain or a subway. They don't check your once you're in, you're good unless that happens what you're describing.
Yeah. But yeah, you're generally, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
That is funny.
You should be able to make it into the theater.
Yeah.
And watch what you're going to watch.
Yeah. And that one, Tinseltown, I feel like every time I go there, there's nobody there.
Yeah.
Every movie I see there, it's just dead.
Yeah, it's pretty small. You can usually sneak in. You don't have to worry about James Bond being sold out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. What was the last movie you saw in theaters?
I just went a couple of nights ago to see. What have I seen? Well, I saw the Nicolas Cage movie where he was it the unbearable weightness of
Massive
talent.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it was
good,
really
right?
cool. Like that because he was playing himself, Nicolas Cage. But then you realize, while they're doing the acid, that they're writing that the movie that they're in is the movie they're writing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of got all these sort of layers to it that was really cool. So I like that. And then, what is the last one? I don't know. Just went to see. My memory is.
Did you see Top Gun?
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah.
I finally went to see Top Gun because everyone had said how great it was.
Yeah.
And yeah, it lived up to all the. It was fun. Top Gun was fun.
It was really good. I was like, I felt embarrassed. I was like on the edge of my seat. I was like leaning forward. Literally, I was like.
Did you see the original Top Gun?
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen it a couple times, actually.
Yeah. So, like, I saw Top Gun. I was a kid when it came out. And that's when I got all my hair cut, found out what gel was. I was like, I want my hair cut like Tom Cruise. I had that, like, short hair, gelled up. Thought it was awesome. But the great thing about Top Gun is that they're in real jets.
Right.
They didn't CGI it.
That's crazy.
Right? So, it's great that Tom Cruise is a nut job.
It's great. It is.
Because that's probably why they took 30 years. He's like, no, when you can put me in a plane and I actually can do all the turns and pull all the G's, he'll do it. Like they strapped him to the side of the plane in the, what's Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
He wanted to do the stunt. They glued him, whatever, to the outside of a transport plane, and it took off with Tom Cruise strapped to the side.
Yeah, and didn't he do the one where he's like in that big tall building in Dubai? He's like hanging off of it.
I think so.
Actually
Like
do that
he does all his stuff, and
Yeah.
he's I don't know. I think he's like 60.
Right? And also like I was thinking about that, and I was like, people like they have a lot of hate for him as a person, but I'm like, he's been making good movies for over 30 years.
Yeah, he takes his movie making seriously, and there's nobody that is funnier to watch spaz than Tom Cruise. When he spazzes and he has to run
Yeah.
Like I laugh in hysterics because he like when he gets wound up like in the Show Me the Money one with Jerry Maguire and he's freaking out and run. Like whenever Tom Cruise has a meltdown, freak out, has to run somewhere.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the funniest moments you can see in a movie. It's not meant to be funny.
Right.
But to me, I always think him spazzing and running is hilarious.
It is.
So
yeah, he's got a really funny face. That sounds bad, but like facial expressions.
Yeah, he's great at what he does. And you know what? People who have worked, I know a few people who have worked on a movie that he's been on or interviewed him, and they said he's an awesome person.
Oh.
The interview, they said it was their favorite person they've ever interviewed. And then on set, like he knows everybody. He remembers like just the person getting the coffee, the PA guy, like so knows everybody, remembers like kids' names, like he asks about them. Like he's not not one of those guys where you're not allowed to look at their face.
Yeah.
Or whatever, you know, like
I literally just did background on a movie last year that Bruce Willis was the star of, and they came into the background room and they're like, nobody look him in the eye.
And were they serious?
Yes.
And what would what happens if did anyone like did someone look him in the eye and they turned to stone?
I don't.
What happens
right?
if you, is it a warning for your health?
They said like they came in and they were like, hey, like. Because we didn't know what the movie was. I just did one day. We didn't know like who the star was or what the movie was. And then we were all just in the background room, just like, okay, what's going on? And then they came in and they're like, just so everybody knows, you will be like in scenes with Bruce. And they were like, so like just try not to look at him. He likes to be a regular guy like everyone else. Like, you know, he doesn't like to be stared at. So just don't look at him. Like, that's not.
You can't be a regular guy and then ask not to be looked at.
Exactly.
Right? I think.
And it's like, I understand if they're like, we don't want you to like ask for a picture.
Yeah.
Sure, that you shouldn't do that on a set. That's really unprofessional.
And did you guys say, hey, we are professional extras. We know not to look. We're paid not to look at the star, the camera. We know what we're doing.
Right. Like
Fuck off.
We should have. It was a crazy day. I've only done that one day of background, and it was like also like we were on our lunch break, and the like background wrangler, this lady like came in, and she was like, okay, lunch is in 10 minutes, and we're all like, okay, and it was like this moment where she was like realized she had everyone in the room's attention, and she goes, just curious, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how does she say? How truthful do you think the CBC is? Like, she just was like, do you think the news is actually telling us the truth? And we were all just like, what?
That's a weird one from the Wrangler.
Yeah. And then she just started going on, and like we were just like, okay. Yeah.
Lunch.
Yeah. We're like, okay, great.
Wow.
It was pretty funny.
I've never done it. I've never done a background day. Like, and I probably should. Like, I'm a union actor. Like, I'd get like a union. I think it pays you. I
think for union, you'd get a better rate. I don't know.
You get like $28 an hour and then 40 if it's over 8 hours or something. Like, so.
Yeah.
I could just go sit around all day and then not. I just know don't stare at Bruce Willis. That's the only rule. To be in a background actor.
Yeah. And he's retired from acting now.
That's right.
So you don't have to worry.
I don't have to worry. I can stare at whoever I want.
Yeah. I might have worked on his last movie.
Oh, that would be sad.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah, but he got, well, we won't talk about that.
Yeah.
That's not good, funny entertainment.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to, I had never been on a set before. So I was like, I'll just do it.
Never been on a set. Okay.
Yeah. So that was my experience.
I started out like on sets.
Right.
As like before they had PA, like I got a job on some movies and TV shows here where you were like, well, I got up to being like an assistant director.
Oh, wow.
And stuff. Like I was the one who had to go get the talent. Mm-hmm. And that was really fun. It was really fun. But, like everything was exciting then, but then I found out that's not really how you get to make movies or be in movies.
Yeah.
But I got to do it. Yeah, I got to do one with Diane Lane.
I love her.
Yeah, me too. And I was like a kid, and it was like Cherry Valance from The Outsiders, and I was like, like I couldn't talk. Like, like you think she's beautiful on screen when you meet her, like, oh, this is why. Like when I've run into like Susan Sarandon,
Yeah.
and that you're like, oh no, Sigourney Weaver. Sorry, you're like they're like they have this star, like you get a little bit like
Presence. Yeah.
it's Sigourney Weaver.
Wow.
I don't know what I can't talk to her.
Yeah.
I freeze up. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
So yeah, that's a good question. Is that like the most starstruck you've ever been?
Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah.
No, well, that's because she just came out of nowhere and knew the guy I was with at the Toronto Film Festival. So all of a sudden, I was like in a conversation with Sigourney Weaver. Like she spilt red wine on me, and I didn't wash my shirt. I was like, oh, Sigourney Weaver spilt that on me, right? I didn't know I was going to be like it was like the Bruce Willis thing you're talking about. Like all of a sudden, she was there.
Yeah.
So I don't usually get starstruck. Most people I can. Her presence though was overwhelming,
surprising.
And then Diane Lane, because I had like a crush on her from the time I was a kid. I couldn't believe she was sitting like you to me away.
Yeah.
She was like, can you maybe get me a soda? And so I was like, yes, Miss Lane,
God.
I'll be right. You know, like most starstruck I've been David Lee Roth.
Oh.
David Lee Roth got in an elevator in Chicago with me.
Yeah.
While I was there doing a comedy festival. And the weird thing is I didn't realize it was him. I saw this guy crossing the street. I thought it was a hobo. He had like a faded sun hat. And he looked awful. This guy, I was like, what's that guy doing in this neighborhood? There's this hobo. And then I was in the elevator and the doors open and the hobo turned out to be David Lee Roth.
Oh my God.
And he got on the elevator and he was the color of ashes. Like he didn't look healthy. Like his skin was gray. He looked like a walking ashtray. But because I was such a big Van Halen fan when I was a kid, I was like, Diamond Dave. I called him Diamond Dave, and he didn't look at me. I'm like, I'm a huge fan. I've had all your, like, since I was a kid. I'm here doing the Chicago Comedy Festival. It was just me and two old people. And he's like, yeah, good for you. And then he didn't look at me. He didn't do anything. And then the elevator, came to his floor, and he walked off. So he snubbed me.
Yeah.
But that's probably because I was overly excited. And I was like 28.
Right.
I wasn't a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was, but I just couldn't believe David Lee Roth was in an elevator with me all of a sudden.
Right.
And it didn't even matter that he looked like an ashtray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, if that's the power of like, yeah, someone you like loved that much. Like.
Yeah. And he was the Sigourney Weaver, like the weirdest, a little starstruck, Bono and the Edge.
Oh, whoa.
When I was just drinking in a bar in Toronto, like an outdoor deck, and they were playing that night. And then they came in, and I guess Bono, I just felt a hand on my shoulder, and I turned, it was Bono. He was like, they came for drinks. So then after me, he went sort of like touching people's shoulders as he went but he was still
Why was he touching people's
I don't know. It was just weird. Like I was drinking with some other comics, like I think it was John Doerr, a couple of these guys. And all of a sudden I felt this hand, and I turned, and it's Bono.
Oh my God.
And the Edge, and he's wearing the cowboy hat with the blue sunglasses. It's like 2 a.m.
Okay.
Maybe they've done their concert. He comes in with the Edge. Edge is in his toque, right?
Yeah.
They come in. They got all these bouncers around them, and then they sit down at they sit like way over, like not far away, a couple of tables over, and they're just there, sort of hanging out. And you're like, oh my God, that's Bono.
Yeah.
And so I bought a Che Guevara picture outside the Blue Jays game we were at, like a print and I was like, I'm gonna go get him to sign it. Like I went over, and before I could get to Bono, the bouncer's like, no, sit down. You're not coming anywhere near him. I was kind of drunk. I was like, oh, rats, right? And then Bono left, and he didn't touch everyone on the way out.
Right.
It wasn't that busy. There wasn't that many people there really. And then the Edge stayed and was drinking with like a couple of women and the bouncer. And then I came over. Nobody stopped me when I went to walk up to the Edge.
Of course.
Like there was no protection for the Edge. He was fine. I said, hey, I've got this. Can you sign this for my girlfriend? Like, so he like signed like to Patsy the Edge. Like, so I just thought it'd be cool to get on a Che Guevara picture autographed with the Edge.
Nice.
To the girlfriend I had. And then I had to carry that for 2 weeks around Toronto.
Right.
Until I went home. And a great surprise. It was up on the wall, and I guess she still has it. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not my girlfriend
so
anymore.
you don't have it.
I don't have the Che Guevara Edge.
Right.
Yeah, signed. Just the experience.
Yeah, I mean, that's so good. To be fair, like, I don't think I would recognize the Edge without Bono there.
Maybe that's what happened. Like after Bono left, nobody seemed that concerned, but he has his toque on and he looks like the Edge.
Yeah, like I do know what he looks like, but I probably would be like, he looks familiar, but I don't know if I would put it together.
Yeah, Bono is Bono.
Yeah.
Cowboy hat, sunglasses.
Yeah, sunglasses
Whatever,
always.
leather jacket, the whole, exactly how he looks in every, like he just stepped off stage. Only this is his go out in regular people outfit and small.
Yeah.
They're both like 5'5". They're little Irish guys.
Oh.
Like you think of them as these giant sort of rock gods, but when they walk by you, because I stood up, Bono, I was drunk.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God, I'm taller than Bono because I'm not that tall a guy.
Yeah, so many celebrities are so much shorter than you think.
Yeah, but then Sigourney Weaver was way taller than I thought.
Okay.
She like
Yeah,
towered
she
over
is tall,
me.
isn't she?
Right? So you either have this, like,
Right.
you think everybody's going to be pretty tall, and then
Yeah.
most of them aren't.
Yeah. Especially like TV actors. I don't know. I feel like every TV actor I've seen is like really short. Like when I was working at the Fifth Avenue Cineplex, like a lot of people who would film shows in Vancouver would come watch movies there. And the girl who played Supergirl, I just remember she was like, I think like 5'4", like she was just tiny.
And like really, like,
Yeah, and really
super
thin. And
yeah,
I'm just like, that's Supergirl?
not too impressive. Like,
Yeah.
doesn't look like she could bend a steel beam.
Exactly. I was like, okay.
Supergirl. Well, did they come and see themselves in movies? Were they like sneaking in?
No, I think so. Casey Affleck came to that theater, and I think he watched Manchester by the Sea.
Watched his own movie?
Yeah, I can't remember. I could be making that up.
He could have seen another movie, but it
Could have
was
seen
Casey
another-
Affleck.
But he was there, and that movie was
playing.
playing. But I just
Well, I guess if you were going to see it, you'd want to sneak in maybe and see what the crowd is doing.
yeah, I get
See
that.
if people like laugh or
But I
it's
feel like
Manchester by
the
the
Oscars
Sea.
had already happened.
Yeah.
Like he already knew the consensus.
And at Manchester in the Sea, are you just waiting to hear if people are crying?
Yeah, that
Like what? It's
honestly,
not like a
the
comedy.
saddest movie I've ever seen in my life.
Is Manchester at the
It
Sea?
may be that movie. Oh my God, it's rough. I'll never watch it again.
Yeah. I don't really remember it, probably because it was rough.
Yeah.
And so saddest movie.
Well, just in that, like, I wasn't expecting part of it. I'm not trying not to ruin it, but I'm just like,
we don't do spoiler alerts.
well,
here?
no,
Like,
we
do you think that
can.
people are gonna rush
That's
out?
what I'm
Then
gonna say.
Everyone's
like,
gonna be like, I got to see Manchester in the Sea now. I got to see the
no, I
saddest
guess I
movie
could
ever
say,
made.
like, I can't remember what happens. Like, it's like this couple who's going through this divorce, and then
Isn't their kid had died.
yeah,
or
and then
something?
you find out their kid had like died in a fire, and that it's like their fault. And
Yeah.
I don't know, it just like kept piling on, stuff like that, where it was just like, oh God, like
Yeah, maybe he was just seeing if people walked out,
yeah,
if they couldn't take it.
yeah.
Have you walked out of a movie before?
Yes. I'm trying to think. It was the remake to Conan the Barbarian.
They remade Conan the Barbarian.
I'm trying to look. I'm like, was it?
Was this
that?
a free one too? Did you walk out of like when you could go see free movies?
Yeah,
Or
I'm
did
pretty
you
sure
think,
it was.
I'm gonna pay to go see a remake of Conan the
No, I'm
Barbarian.
pretty sure I went for free.
How can you remake it without Arnold Schwarzenegger? That's
Yeah,
no...
it was Jason Momoa,
Oh, well, there's a reason to
2011.
walk out. Yeah,
and it was really bad. Really bad.
I never even heard of it. I didn't know that they made it.
Yeah.
I don't walk out too out. I guess the biggest walkout I did was it was a movie with John Travolta and Christian Slater. It came out, I think, like near the end of the 90s. I'm trying to remember what the name. It was like an atomic bomb they had to smuggle or something. It was after John Travolta had done Pulp Fiction. He kind of got his career going.
Yeah.
And Howie Long, he's like a former NFL guy, was trying to become an actor. That's when all these NFL guys thought they would become actors. Was in it. Broken Arrow.
Oh.
And I had blown out my knee and I was getting it rehab. So I was on crutches.
Mm-hmm.
So I got there early and I sat like in the middle of the theater, and then people, it filled in. And it was so bad. Like I sat there for longer than I would have because I didn't want to try and get up with crutches. And finally, on crutches, I had to be like, excuse me, pardon me, like I had to shuffle out on crutches and then crutch my way out of the movie theater.
Oh
it was
God.
that bad. So I made it to probably the 40-minute mark because I didn't want to. And I was like, oh, fuck it. I'm on crutches. I don't care. I'm going to take my crutches and just go by everybody. I can't watch any longer of this.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It takes a lot for me to walk out of a movie. Like I've sat through, I can think of some that I've wanted to walk out, but I didn't. And that was I think the most recent Fantastic Four movie.
Where do you get your movie choices from?
I
guess you're walking out of the right movies, but what made you walk in the first place is the bigger question.
I like superhero movies.
Okay.
And it's a good cast.
Is the latest, did they remake the Fantastic Four from when they made it?
So yeah, it wasn't the ones with like Jessica Alba and Michael Chiklis.
That's the only one I know. Again,
yes,
you've gone to see a remake
I know.
of
I know. Yeah. They were all remakes actually. The other one that I wanted to walk out of that was really bad was the remake of Hellboy.
Well, what
came out like 2 years ago.
Avoid remakes.
Yeah, maybe.
That seems to be a warning sign for you that like you're gonna like
remakes of like action movies. Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever gone to see a remake. Other than, like, Batmans aren't remakes. They just keep remaking Batman movies.
I guess.
Right? They sort of start. It's always a little origin thing, but it's different.
That's what the Fantastic Four was supposed to be.
Yeah. It didn't work the first time.
No.
The first one wasn't good. The remake can't be better.
No. But it had, I'm pretty sure, Miles Teller, the guy from Top Gun.
Oh, yeah. The Goose's kid with the rooster.
Yeah. He plays Mr. Fantastic.
Oh. Well, there's another reason not to see it.
You don't like him?
Oh, I do like Miles Teller, I guess. I just didn't really know him from anything. Like, I saw him, like, when I saw him, I was like, oh, I recognize this guy.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't know him. There's sort of like a generation of actors where I haven't bothered learning their names. I kind of tapped out at, like, Brad Pitt and Edward Norton and that. I know that group of actors.
So Fight Club.
After that, Fight Club, anything after Fight Club, I got no idea who's in it. I got an idea who it is, but, like, when they're...
No, that's understandable.
Like I couldn't tell you the name of the lead star in Dune.
Okay.
That kid that's in like he was in the pretty good night. There was sort of a night one where he fought Robert Pattinson.
Oh.
He was a French king and he was like a British guy.
Right.
Scottish guy.
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, well it wasn't a remake. There's no reason for you to watch it.
Yeah.
So like I don't know what that actor's name is, even though he's pretty big.
Yeah.
Do you know that actor's name?
Yeah, Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet. I should know Timothy Chalamet. I know he didn't wear a shirt to the Oscars.
Right.
I saw that. He just wore a tuxedo top.
Yeah, just like a jacket.
And then
almost like a bolero jacket.
Yes, he wore a bolero cut jacket, which was another odd choice. I didn't know bolero cut jackets were still available. I thought that ended at the end of the 80s or whatever, but he tried to bring it back. The shirtless bolero jacket look didn't really fly.
80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess that was the last Oscars too, right?
Yeah.
They won't put it on TV anymore, will they? It's over.
You think?
Well, who needs to watch it after what happened?
Yeah.
Like, I think everyone's going to be like, oh, fuck, not these guys again.
Yeah. And like every year I watch them because I like it, but it's like always like, I don't know.
Yeah. I did it all the years because we'd go to an Oscar party pool.
That's fun.
So everyone threw in money, and then you ticked off all the boxes, and whoever got the most right won the money.
I like that.
Yeah, so it made you're betting. It's sort of sports betting. So I liked it, but...
Did you ever win?
Yeah. I've won a couple early on, but I haven't won in like 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I won on the last time Meryl Streep won the Oscar for Best Actress. So it was the one category left, and myself and Toby Hargrave were, he had, I don't know who the actress was, and then she won, and I was like, you don't bet against Meryl Streep. You don't go against Meryl Streep. And then I took the money out, and it was like $550. It was pretty fun.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
I bought drinks for everybody, and Erica Sigurdsson used to throw that every year until COVID came.
Right.
And it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's just no
more
Oscars.
No more Oscars.
Damn. Okay, so let's see. What when you were growing up, did you ever like go to concerts and stuff?
Music concerts?
Yeah.
Like as a kid, did I get taken to them?
Yeah.
Or did I go
like when you were a
own?
teenager? Like what was your first concert?
My first concert was Dr. Hook.
Oh.
Do you know who that is?
I'm like familiar.
They're like I don't know. I guess they're somewhere from the 70s. They were a mess of. They sing the cover of the Rolling Stone.
Okay.
That song, Can't Get My Picture.
Yeah.
On the cover of the Rolling Stone. That got them on the cover of the Rolling Stone. But I got taken to that when I was like, I don't know, 6 or something.
Oh, okay.
My parents took me. I got to bring a friend, and it was in this like the Memorial Arena in Victoria, and we were just allowed to run around. And they just told us if anyone offers you to smoke grass, you say no. And I'm like 6, maybe I was 8, and then we just ran around. And all I remember was like one guy was like pulling off his belt and kind of doing like a fake strip show. Like I guess he was hammered on stage. They were all just wasted. But when you're a kid, you don't really understand why people do weird things. Like, oh, that guy's drunk. You don't know what drunk is. You just know it makes people do weird stuff.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that would be like concert of kids. And then the first concert I think I went to on my own was either Motley Crue.
Nice.
Came over. I had to come from the island. We came to see Motley Crue. It's when Tommy Lee, the drums went upside down. He played a drum solo and it spun around like he was drumming upside down. Like he drummed. Yeah. He did a circle.
That's cool.
It's in their movie, whatever that movie they made about it. Something on the.
Oh, the dirt.
The dirt. Yeah, they show him sort of doing that. I'm like, I was at that as a kid, or it was that or Van Halen. They were both about the same year.
Okay. And
we came to see Van Halen. And it was pretty cool because we came over on our own. And the guy that was with us, I don't know, we were like maybe 16, 15. And one guy was really hairy. So we got him to like open his shirt. He had long hair and he went in and managed to buy a case of beer. Like he didn't get ID'd. We sent in our hairiest friend. We're like, just undo your shirt.
Yeah.
And then because we were from the island, we hid like just by the law courts. That's the only bushes we could find. I thought that's where we could drink a beer.
Like in Vancouver.
In Vancouver. So that would be my first. One of those two are my first concerts on my own, and then And then I went, like when Mosh Pit was all the Lollapalooza. Like I was a professional Mosh Pit surfer from like 94 to 96.
Whoa!
I went to a concert every weekend. Whoever was in town, I went because I hadn't started doing stand up yet. So I had like once I started to do that, I sort of rarely made it. I made it some concerts, but at night a lot of times I was doing shows. Like I didn't not take a show to go see a concert.
Yeah.
So,
I get that. Like it's kind of sad. I'm like, yeah, I hadn't really been to a concert since I started doing stand up.
Yeah. Well, I had to start doing stand up and follow a tour.
To
go to shows, right? That's how we had to do. We had to incorporate the two
like,
together. Because I really didn't see. Yeah, I just sort of, I can't even remember. LP might have been the last concert I went to. Do you know who she is?
No.
Yeah, she's playing at the Orpheum. Oh my God, there's a husky dog coming by.
Hello.
All right.
Yeah, I think the last concert I went to was, I don't know, Maggie Rogers before COVID.
I don't know who Maggie Rogers is.
Yeah.
Have you gone to see, am I allowed to ask a question?
Sure. Yeah, of course.
Have you gone to see stand-up in a Coliseum? Like, did you go to see like Bill Burr? Have you been to a GM play, like in an arena?
I haven't. No. I think the biggest place I've seen someone do stand-up was at the Queen Elizabeth.
Okay. Yeah, that's about as big as you want to go.
Yeah. And what's it like at like an arena?
You still see them. The arena, you wind up watching on the big screen behind them because they're so small. But I was lucky that I got to go, because of when I started stand up, I knew Russell Peters before he blew up. So when he was here, this was years ago, I got to go like down and have like dinner underneath, and then all of a sudden your friend just walks up into a stadium like he's Bruce Springsteen and he's playing a concert. It's really weird to see, like, oh my God. So I kind of got to see what it was like to feel like I wasn't on stage, but I was like, he's just talking to me and then he's like, okay, see you in an hour and a half. And then he walked up, he did his show in front of a whole arena, and people are just, it's crazy that there's that many people laughing. I can't imagine how awesome that is. But then afterwards, there's like a meet and greet where people have paid extra money, like for VIP tickets. Yeah. And so he has to talk to everyone, get a picture. And that lasted like a couple of hours. And I'm like,
Oh
do you have
my
to do this
God.
every show? He's like, every show. It's tougher. The show's the easy part,
Right.
right? You have to do this meet and greet, and they get a picture or a little video or a selfie or something. Like,
Yeah.
you talk to all these people, and then
Ooh, that
You
sounds exhausting.
yeah, and then you see how many people actually. Then they pack up all the stuff. They start packing up, and you see how many people are employed by, like, the amount of people that Bill Burr feeds on a
Yeah.
tour is probably 40 people.
That's
Right? They
nuts.
pack up all the stuff, and then Russell would fly off in his own jet. I don't know. They drove it to the next place, but like
Yeah.
the amount of people that actually, so that would go with music as well, right?
Oh yeah.
Like
your
Dolly
whole
Parton or
team.
whoever, your whole team, whoever you've got would go. I went to see Dolly Parton in concert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be great.
She's pretty amazing. For a 7-year-old lady, she played every instrument, and she did 3 hours.
Oh my God.
She did like an hour and a half, took a 20-minute break, and then did another hour and a half. Like,
Cool.
yeah. My wife's a big Dolly Parton fan. I knew that about her. And I went to Dolly World in Tennessee. She's got her own like theme park.
Yeah.
I didn't know that existed. We were just driving near it, and she's like, "Oh my God, we got to go
I think
to
it's Dollywood.
Dollywood." You're right. Okay, you know it. Okay.
Yeah. No, I would love to go to that.
Yeah, we went to Dollywood, and so I went to see her concert, and she can play every instrument, and then she puts on, and the show is more like a one lady show. She cracks a bunch of jokes and tells the
Yeah.
story of like how she got her
How
look
she wrote
from.
the songs.
She met a hooker when she was like 6 and wanted to be like her. Like that's why she wears the wig, and then she would play a song, right? So she'd
That's
laugh
awesome.
and tell a story. So I recommend Dolly Parton.
Yeah, I would love to see that. I've seen a couple like videos of her online of just her just telling little jokes between her songs, and it's like, I don't know, like as a stand-up, you're like, man, that's
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, she's got the whole.
It's so easy for her.
It's pretty amazing. If you see, like, I've gone to see concerts of bands I didn't like.
Yeah.
Like somebody gave me tickets to Bon Jovi. I'm not a big fan,
Mm-hmm.
but I went, and then I'm still always like, I guess maybe because we're performers and that, like, you're really just in awe of like actually how good they are.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they are really good musicians, right?
Yeah.
And performers. And even though it's not my favorite type of music, I'm still like, it's a good show.
Yeah, I got a free ticket to a Coldplay show once, and it was in like 2012, and it was like, I was like, yeah, like I know their hits. I'll go to the show, and it was amazing. Like, it was like such a good concert. Chris Martin is just like, he was having the most fun. That was the best part. It was like, like you could tell he loves this more than anything. Like,
So it's sort of inspiring, right? You get kind of, so
Totally.
you feel the inspiration, and then you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I should do something,
yeah.
and then you don't.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
that's the only one that wasn't like Oasis was so boring.
Oh.
They didn't move. They just stood there and sang, and then I guess they fight afterwards or whatever
Right.
they're gonna do, right? That's probably why they're not on tour anymore. But like,
Uh,
when I went to
that
see Bill
sucks.
Burr the first time,
mhm.
I went with like a few, like some of Canada's top comics, and we all were sitting in different areas or whatever. But like I laughed so hard, I forgot what it's like to laugh for like an hour until it hurts,
Yeah.
right? And then afterwards, we all went for a beer, and it was pretty quiet. Like we were all kind of tired out, and then we were like, "Did you see what that guy's doing? Like we're not doing anything."
Yeah.
Like, we thought we were pretty good, and we're like, no, that guy is really good. We're,
Yeah.
and these are guys, everybody's been on TV specials and done all that sort of stuff, but nobody is Bill Burr.
Totally. Yeah. That's that just made me think of like, I just was like, oh, how we met. You taught me in my comedy class.
Yeah,
And I was just thinking about that because like people sometimes like talk down on like comedy classes, but I'm like, I think it's a good introduction if you don't know how to get into stand up. And I thought your approach to teaching us was good. Like, you were kind of like, you would show us a special or like a different style each week, and you were like, try write a story this week, try and write one-liners this week.
yeah. I tried to get you to do all the different ways of stand up to see
Yeah.
what would work for you guys. And the weird thing is, like, I never taught stand up, but I didn't want to teach stand up.
Yeah.
Some actress that I knew was like, oh, they're looking for someone to I think you'd be good. I'm like, I don't want to teach a stand-up course. So I had to write the curriculum too, right? Like
Wow.
I had to come up with the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then, but I went, And the guys who owned the place used to run sport marts when I ran a sport mart. So I knew them from when I was like 24.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you guys own this? So I came to do it. And I really wound up enjoying the teaching, but like I didn't do a lot. Like I would show you guys stuff. I'd maybe talk to you. I'd help you with jokes, but then nobody's going to help you write them.
Yeah.
When you do, you got to do this on your own. Like this, I can't write the jokes for you. You have to learn how to do it. So I would make you guys perform it.
Mm-hmm. And I remember like you wouldn't even like, I don't know, you wouldn't like even guide us too much. You were like, you would tell us like, this is what worked for you. Yeah. This is what didn't. And then I just remember like asking you like once like, oh, I riffed this thing. Should I say that in my act? And you were like, I don't know. Like if it works, it works. Yeah, try it.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the best. Yeah. You were like, I'm not going to tell you what to say.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what to say. And also, I don't know. Yeah. Right? Like, you could do a joke in the class, and we all think that's the greatest joke, and then you do it live, and it doesn't work. Yeah. So, like, my idea of, like, what I think is a really great joke might not be... Like, I think I come up with great jokes all the time, and then they don't work. So who am I to tell you? Like...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I had to... Yeah, and you're the only one, actually, out of that whole class who wound up becoming a stand-up.
That's true. And
I don't know if any of the other people even wound up in any form of comedy, because you guys learned improv.
Yeah, sketch.
You learned all the different stuff, right? Sketch,
so
improv.
Much. Yeah.
And then you were all actors first. You'd all taken the acting course. So I don't know if any of them wound up being actors, comic. Are they?
I think some of them are still acting. I think Avalon's still doing improv in Calgary. I don't know. I think a lot of them were like 19, 20 years old. Yeah. And, you know, they had taken the acting course and then kind of living in Vancouver. And then you kind of have to figure out, like, oh, is this actually what I want to do? Like, for me, I was 26.
Okay.
So I felt like I definitely wasn't the oldest person in the class, but I just felt like, and a lot of them wanted to be actors first and like writers. I don't know.
I think I saw one of them. Was Kenny in that class?
No.
Okay. No, it might have been the last class. Anyhow, one of the kids was in. I went to see Theater Under the Stars last night because I'm mentoring my nephew. Yeah. Is down and he wants to learn. He's a little actor guy. He's like 15. He's done some high school show. He wants to learn how to write a play. Mm-hmm. And so I've written a one-man show and a lot of film and TV scripts. So I had to get a couple of books to see exactly how a play is written. And I've read all that in a couple of days. And so I've been mentoring him along, but we went to see a play and it was We Will Rock You. Oh. Some Queen. They sing Queen songs, but they've changed the lyrics to fit this. They're in an internet world and it was pretty corny.
Okay.
Like we didn't make it past the intermission. We went at the intermission. I was like, okay, that's about all I could. If I see something corny, I can't. It makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, a lot of theater can go either way, like so hard.
Yes, and I've seen really great I've seen like Broadway things where like a woman comes out and belts out a song that fills without a microphone. Fills like a whole hall, and you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then you go to this where everyone's kind of dressed up and the acting's maybe not so great. Some of them can really sing, but you're just like, I almost feel embarrassed for everybody in it. Yeah. So it makes it hard for me to watch because we do stand up. Yeah. So even the little guy was like, yeah, I've had enough.
Oh, that's good.
So yeah, we went home and I don't know. We watched Dune. That's why I didn't know the name of that actor.
Nice. What'd you think of Dune?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I thought it was great. That's
a remake.
It is a remake. You're right. It is a remake of Dune. And the thing is, the original Dune is kind of, I saw it again as an adult.
Okay.
But it was awful as a kid. Oh. Because it was made by David Lynch, so it was all weird.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So David Lynch makes all these weird, you don't understand. So as a kid, when you're seeing Star Wars and all them, we thought, there's this movie on a desert planet where giant worms eat spaceships. We were all excited to go see it. And we're like, what is going on? I have no clue. Like Sting was flying around in it. Like it was just this weird, I don't know what was going on. It was the guy from Twin Peaks, Kyle MacLachlan was the star, and it's not that great. It's weird. It's David Lynchy. Whereas this one, it was like, and I also didn't know it was only part one.
Mm-hmm.
Like I went in, and it's like, oh, part one. I'm like, oh, so it doesn't finish. Like the other one, they did the whole movie,
Okay.
right? So I know where it goes.
Okay. Because, yeah, there's like a few books that's based on,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's based on a book, so that's what we thought it would be like because we read
Yeah.
all the. And then went to see it. Well, that was the second time I saw it. Was the other night with the kid.
Okay.
And I went to see it originally with this buddy at the D-Box movies. Have you gone to a D-Box movie?
I haven't. It kind of scares me.
It's ridiculous. So you sit in your...
Sometimes you could hear it.
Yeah, but they put you in a chair,
Yeah.
right? And so when the ship goes up, like your chair goes up, and then your feet are dangling, and as it goes down, like it tilts your chair, you're moving around.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is an awful way to watch a movie. I don't need to be in Feel-O-Rama.
Yeah.
So you can shut your chair down. So I turned mine down to what, and then I just watch my friend, like he's trying to eat popcorn, it's spilling everywhere. His chair's throwing him around. I'm like, you're a full grown adult. He's going up in a chair, down, like deep. That's the dumbest, it's the dumbest idea we've come up with for movies yet is a D-Box chair.
Yeah, it's so weird. And like, yeah, if you're sitting like right in front of them in normal seats, you can hear them like, rumbling the whole time.
Rumbling around,
it's,
right?
Like,
So
annoying.
I had this guy rumbling beside me the whole movie. His popcorn spilling everywhere. He didn't shut it down. He loved the D-Box chair.
Okay.
But I was like, no.
I guess some people love it because they've kept it around for a bit.
Yeah, but there's only a few of them, right? There's just that
True.
row of the D-Boxers.
Yeah.
And I think you got to pay for
weirdos.
those ones. I don't think you could sneak into a D-Box. It won't activate.
That's true.
Yeah. I think.
Oh yeah, I wonder if they have to turn it on every time.
Yeah, I think they got to probably fire up the D-Box.
Yeah. Interesting. We didn't have that at the theater I worked at.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
It's
Fifth
newer.
Avenue's, an older one. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's next on your super question list?
Okay. Well, because you do the Microdose podcast, I was gonna ask, are you a fan of stoner films?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I like Dazed and Confused.
Okay, that's a great one.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah.
I didn't like Half Baked.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, that's Dave Chappelle, and wasn't it great? So what's another stoner film? And I'll tell you if I.
Okay.
Apocalypse Now. Yeah, like that.
Well,
they take acid in that, right? So.
Well, that's what's interesting. Like, I was like experimenting with weed. I'm not a big stoner at all, and I thought like, oh, that's what you do. You'll like get stoned and then watch like a stoner movie. But a lot of them are like very stressful, like Pineapple Express.
Yes.
So it's like you don't actually want to watch that when you're stoned because you're like,
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter.
You know what? It's weird. I don't smoke pot very often anymore. Like once in a while, like sometimes when I write something and I want to get a different look at it, I'll smoke some pot and then go for a run or a hike, like just to kind of think about it. And once in a while, I'll get high and go to a movie.
Yeah.
And the difference is, or you can eat gummies now.
Yes.
My brother and I ate gummies, went to see Anchorman 2.
Nice.
Could not stop laughing. An hour, like laughed ourselves right out of gas for an hour. And then at the end, we kind of ran out of gas. And my wife was with me and she's like, you guys, this is not funny.
Yeah.
But you guys are laughing way too hard. And then I saw like on Facebook afterward, people that I know that are really funny, all of them, like this movie, it was god awful. Like nobody liked Anchorman 2.
Yeah, it
but
was bad.
if you took, it was horrible, right? It's this horrible. But if you were high on like, if you would take a spot, it was so funny when all the jokes that were so dumb.
Yeah.
When you're high. When nobody's driving the van and it goes off, or when he's going invisible on the green screen, stuff that is so bad was so funny when we were high, and then I watched it again not high, and I'm like, this is almost unwatchable.
Oh my god!
Right? So, because microdose is just we just take a little bit of psilocybin mushroom stuff before the podcast, but not enough.
You don't get like super stoned.
No, it turned out like we tried to do it on LSD at the beginning, just microdose that, but it would stay in your system for a while afterwards. So you were like done, and then you're like, just go away.
Yeah.
Acid. I didn't really like that. Like you never took enough that you were hallucinating. Like the idea was just a bit, but it turns out I shouldn't say this just for creative people, but if you're already pretty creative, I don't think you need to be. I don't think you need it. It didn't add anything to the podcast.
Okay.
So, but we do wind up like I still microdose every 3 days. I take a bit, just for your mental health.
Nice.
And then I found out, we talked about, like, because we thought that might be part. And then we found out the best thing for your mental health is do a podcast with your friend once a week.
Well, yeah, that's it. Like just having a conversation with your friend.
Yeah.
Where you don't have your phones. You're just
you
chatting.
just laugh. You do a podcast once a week, and through like all of COVID, because we started right before that happened. Like that turns out to be the best thing you could do is do a podcast once. Whether you want to do a podcast or not, everybody should do a podcast once a week.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I think it's good for everybody to do.
It is. It's always fun.
I think everybody does do a podcast once a week, don't they? Isn't there that many podcasts out there?
Yeah, like everyone I know anyway.
Yes, but we know all the people in the arts. I don't know if regular people are doing podcasts. I shouldn't say regular people, like we're not regular people. But you know what I mean? Like people who just have jobs or whatever and think, oh, I can never do a podcast. It's pretty, I mean, your podcast is really well put together.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, we're filming. We're in a studio. There's a dog comes by. Like, you don't get that on many other podcasts.
Yeah.
So,
I used to do them on Zoom.
Yeah, but you can do them easily. You can do, like, yours will sound great. Like, you have all the equipment. And then some people have podcasts that sound awful.
Right,
yeah. Like, they just sound tinny or whatever, so it's hard to listen when everybody has pretty good, not everybody, but, like, we have pretty good gear for sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to be able to hear
It's like, that's the one thing that a podcast is. It's like, people are going to listen to it. So it's like, yeah, you should put something into
You should put something in. Like, I did one lately just over Zoom, and I'm like, do you want me to hook up my mic? And all, they're like, no, just, and I'm like, oh, and it didn't sound good.
Yeah,
right?
You're like, I should have.
Yeah, they should have. Even theirs didn't sound good, right? They're just, but they're new. They were only on, like, episode 6.
Yeah.
And so it takes some time, right? Not everybody's got a studio up their sleeve.
Well, I started this a long time ago, and well, over a year. Anyway.
Yeah, you've been at it for a while.
Yeah.
2 years?
Maybe.
How many episodes are you at?
69.
69.
Nice.
I'm in episode 69. This is what episode I get the old.
Nice.
Oh, Shorzy, episode 69. Right on. 69, dude.
That's so funny.
Yeah, so that's over a year. 52 is a year.
And I have taken like the odd like month or so off.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you take what, a sabbatical? What do they call that?
No,
Hiatus?
like it's never been on purpose. It's just like once like I got COVID and I was doing them.
Yeah.
I could have done it on Zoom, but I was like, I just don't feel like it.
No.
You know.
Yeah, you'd like to do it in person.
Life happens. Yeah, it is. I do like doing it in person now.
Okay. Yeah, you've had some weird stuff. You got COVID. Didn't you get run over by a car?
Yes.
Yeah, you've been run over by a car. You got COVID.
Actually, I'm like getting another knee surgery for that.
For the car?
For the car, yeah. At the end of July, so I might have to take another hiatus.
But you can still podcast if your knee.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't be able to wear the fancy leopard pants.
No, I think I would actually.
Oh yeah,
they're pretty. They're basically like pajamas.
That's before my first stand-up set, I got my finger broken in a fight with like I got caught in a brawl at a house party with skinheads.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I kind of got pulled out. So anyhow, my finger got broken. I got caught. My finger was broken, and anyhow, I was with a bunch of hot guys. So it was only like, I don't know, the week before I was gonna do my first show. And so now I had this big, they had to put on like a splint, but it had also like a wrap on your hand to set it because it got set wrong. So they had to go to the hospital and surgically they had to re-break it and pin it and all this stuff. So I had my, I went to do my first show and I had my special comedy jacket I was going to wear. And I couldn't fit my hand through it. Right. So I was like, oh no. So I had to just go out in like a white t-shirt and the set went well.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I was like, I don't have my comedy jacket. Like, I thought, like, you need your special. I had my outfit all picked out. Yes, I was going to, like, because you know how you came to my class, I sort of did the same thing. So when I moved to Vancouver, I didn't know how to get into stand-up.
Yeah.
I went and watched a couple of amateur nights, and I saw a guy, and they were like, oh, he's going to be on Melrose Place. And he was terrible. And this other guy, like, he just toured all of Texas. And I was like, oh, my God. And he was terrible. And I was like, if these guys can do that, I can get on it. Later, I found out the guy sent in a tape, an audition tape, never got the role. The other guy was doing open mics in Texas. So I thought, I went in on lies thinking it was that easy. If these guys.
That's what comics are like.
Yeah, but I didn't know even where to start. Like I went to see a couple of amateur nights, and I walked into a sushi shop, and Steve Allen was there, the guy that ran Kino that we all know. And he saw me with some golf clubs, and we started talking. I'm like, oh, yeah, I just moved here. I'd like to try stand-up. And they're like, we're stand-up comedians. You have to come to Peter Klammis's comedy gym. So meeting him told me, come down to this thing. So it was sort of a thing like that. I came down, there was like 12 comics at the comedy club.
Yeah.
And the guy told you how to write some jokes and did all this stuff. And then you did a performance at the end. And I only made like, I think 3 of the classes, and then just showed up for the show. I just want to do the show. I didn't want to do all the, do all the other stuff. And then it went pretty well.
Nice.
And I don't know, like a year later, I was doing stand-up.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there was more to go and open then. Like you could go, and they were horrible shows, though. You had to go to bars where nobody wanted to actually see the stand-up.
Yeah.
I think to keep their liquor license open.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It feels like, anyway, I was going to say, it almost feels like that's happening again. There's so many shows right now that are, anyway,
yeah.
I won't.
People don't want, yeah. But this was where, like, you had to go to, like, a place, drive hours.
Oh, God.
To somewhere, like, for days. Like, you do all of BC, and you'd be in these terrible little towns.
Okay.
And the shows were done. I think maybe the shows were big years before, and they were still just kind of there because the guy with you, you'd walk in, and there'd be, like, a Xerox copy of his 8x10 on the wall, and it was 15 years old. Like, the guy that I was with didn't look like the guy in the picture.
Of course.
And, you know, it was rough. It was a rough start, but I was like, I'm a professional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're touring.
I'm touring. I'm making $100 a show. I thought I was doing great. So
that's awesome.
yeah, never looked back. And then I just quit my job at the Sport Mart, and that was that.
Nice. And here you are.
And here I am. I spent three summers teaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
And then I quit the program.
Yeah.
I don't think it kept running.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it's running.
Yeah, it was out of comics who wanted to try it.
Well, yeah, they all actually wanted to be actors.
Correct.
Yeah, but well, yeah, I think that's the end of the
we caught
pod.
up. That's all the pulp culture.
That's all. Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
the
Magic 8 Ball.
Thank you. I forgot
Speaking
about
of drugs.
I like to end with asking the question.
Okay.
Do you want to ask?
I ask you a question and shake it up. I don't even really know how the 8 Ball works.
Okay, I have this because I've had this since childhood.
Okay.
You ask a yes or no question.
All right.
You can't shake it too hard, otherwise it gets really bubbly.
Okay.
Okay. I want to ask. Well, I'll ask myself a question about me, and then you can ask a question for you.
About me.
Yeah.
And you're gonna shake it up for me, or I'll?
No, I'll
okay.
pass you it after.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna ask because you went on tour, a comedy concert tour. Will I tour with Lady Gaga? My reply is no.
Really? You just said no? Oh man, I don't know. Oh, I got to put on my reading glasses for this.
Oh,
this is like, yeah.
Were you prepared at least?
Yeah, I brought them. I didn't think I'd have to. Okay. Will the play that I'm helping my nephew mentor him through get made, showing? Yes, definitely.
Yes. There we go.
There you go, Jack. Your play is getting made.
Hell yeah.
See, I helped you get started in stand-up, and now he's going to get his little play made. It turns out I'm a pretty good instructor, after all.
That's perfect.
Thanks, 8 Ball.
Yeah. Here, I can
okay.
put it there. Okay, well, thank you so much
Thanks for having me on
here.
your show. It's always a pleasure to be, hang out with you.
Yeah,
especially
for sure.
since you're the only one who did stand-up that I ever taught.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always feel great to see you doing well.
Thank you. Well, yeah, and everyone else, you should check out the Microdose podcast and
yeah, check out the Microdose podcast with myself and Paul Meyerhog.
Yeah,
and then you can just see me doing stand up every. When's this come out?
Monday.
Too late. I'm on Friday on CBC. My Winnipeg taping from 2 years ago when things were shut down with COVID. It's an end of the world special.
It's finally coming out.
Yeah, end of days, and it turned out like we wrote it ahead of time, and then it was in the middle of COVID.
Right.
So everyone's wearing masks. It turned out to be kind of creepy and weird and real.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah. So
nice.
Hopefully you've seen that by then.
Yeah. There you
All right.
go. Okay. Well, thanks for watching and listening. We love you. Bye.
Bye.